issue that's almost exclusive to concrete pavement.
Other roads are falling victim to flood waters. We'll see how long wildfire smoke from Canada will diminish air quality. And we'll check on a tropical storm heading to Hawaii. And we'll see how technology is helping to keep plastic out of the Great Lakes.
There's about 22,000 pounds of plastic waste that go into the Great Lakes every year.
And we'll go foraging for mushrooms deep in the North Carolina woods.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. What seems like nonstop smoke from the Canadian wildfires still plaguing American cities. Just look at this video right here from Knoxville, Tennessee. That is smoke right there hanging over the mountains. This morning, air quality in Knoxville is a code red. Now, let's take a look at the rest of the country. Today, it's an air quality forecast from airnow.gov. Code orange air quality is across much of the Northeast, as well as pockets in the South, the Midwest, and Minnesota. The hope is that winds from the Southwest will clear out some of that smoke today. The other big weather story, of course, the heat showing no signs of letting up. More than 90 million Americans are under a heat alert again today. An excessive heat warning and heat advisory stretch from California to Mississippi. The worst are in some of those purple areas. 100 degrees in Little Rock, 107 in Austin, 113 in Las Vegas. There you go, folks, right here. And 117 degrees in Phoenix. Today will be 19 days in a row. The temperatures are over 110 in Phoenix, breaking all sorts of records. Over in Death Valley, it's crazy hot. Could top 120 degrees. But that heat is not stopping tourists from visiting the hottest place on earth. Brett Forrest takes us there.
The Furnace Creek Visitor Center in the middle of Death Valley National Park. A quote from Edna Brush Perkins written on the walls. It reads, "How could rocks and sand and silence make us afraid and yet be so wonderful?" Perhaps it's that sentiment that draws so many to Death Valley.
I mean, it's hot, but that's why we're here. It's like, well, why? Go in July. If we're going to experience the hottest place on earth, let's experience it.
These heat seekers, as the park rangers call them, aren't new, always coming out when the temperatures climb.
In the afternoon, people have been crowding our thermometer, just waiting for that number to keep ticking upwards.
There was talk about record-breaking temps over the weekend, the all-time high of 134 coming in 1913, but hitting only 128 on Sunday and 123 on Monday. Temperatures so hot, our news camera overheated.
Whenever there's a buzz about record-breaking temps, we do see people, again, just flocking to this place.
But the high temps, of course, come with safety concerns. A 65-year-old man was found dead in his car on July 3rd in the park. Extreme heat appearing to be the cause.
So if your car breaks down, you definitely want to stay with the car, especially if the air conditioning is working, because you just want to stay inside, stay cool until someone drives by or someone can help. But yeah, you don't want to abandon your vehicle.
Every year, Death Valley Park Rangers say 1 to 3 people die inside the park. Despite those concerns, Death Valley's still drawing in those willing to risk it.
So we're just having a good time in the hottest place right now. Like, it keeps getting hotter and it's great.
The triple-digit temperatures also increasing the risk of fires. Vegetation that grew quickly this year because of the wet winter are now drying up. One lightning strike and they will quickly catch fire. Emma Riley is in Utah to look at how officials are responding to this risk.
We are getting to the point where that fire potential is becoming elevated, mostly within those grasses, though, and not the larger timber fires like we've seen in years past.
Merrill says this is a direct result of the record-breaking winter. He says our reservoirs are mostly replenished and the water supply is in great shape. Thanks to the snowpack, the drought percentage is a lot smaller this season, lowering the threat of timber fires.
Real positive about this year is that at our higher elevations, where we have more of the dense timber, we've seen those very large fires like we saw in 2018 and 2020. That potential is lower this year.
But with more water comes more vegetation, creating more fuel for a fire.
How does the fire threat look compared to last year? Are we kind of in the same spot if we caught up?
So if we look at last year, we were still within, an extreme drought period. Also with that moisture, we saw in areas a pretty bonus grass crop. And when we're talking fires, we're talking, the vegetation and the fuels.
I asked locals how they prepare as we reach our hottest and driest period of the season.
I don't burn. I don't have any fires of any kind this time of year. I think that's smart.
Moving forward, the weather is only going to exacerbate things. Merrill says all it takes is for lightning to spark a fire and the low humidity to carry it. But he says we are in a lot better shape than the last several years.
The heat is also taking a toll on roads. As Amanda Gilbert shows us, roads in many places are starting to buckle.
Road buckling. It's something Cole Gertis saw the other day.
Then late, and I seen a spot of the road buckled up in the center area.
He and his co-worker, Blake Robertson, avoided it.
I didn't go over. I went around it instead.
UDOT Public Relations Director John Gleason says it's heat and moisture that's impacting some older concrete roads.
Maybe we're seeing some more of these with all of the storms that we had during the winter and the spring months.
Gleason says the sections of the road are separated by a gap that allows them to expand and contract or breathe.
And if the expansion joint gets clogged with dirt or gravel and doesn't give the panels the room they need to expand, they can essentially move up on each other.
It's an issue we're seeing here. Why aren't we seeing it in southern Utah where it's warmer?
In the southern part of our state, we use a lot of asphalt. We don't use as much concrete, and this is an issue that's almost exclusive to concrete pavement.
Washington County Public Works Director Ron Whitehead agrees, saying concrete is needed in northern Utah more.
They can usually plow on that and clean it off a little smoother.
Driving is no fun in the heat.
That's a little toasty.
It's miserable.
Vehicles overheat a little bit.
The rush is on to stock up on supplies before Tropical Storm Kelvin hits the Hawaiian Islands. Right now, a tropical storm warning is in effect for the Big Island. It could bring heavy rain, high surf, and strong winds tonight, and then into tomorrow for the other Hawaiian Islands. The search continues this morning for two children still missing following weekend floods in Pennsylvania. This is a road where the family car was overcome by water. The children's mother is among the 5 people who died. Their father, older brother, and grandmother survived. Flooding is also the big weather story in New England. There's been so much rain, the roads are being washed away. Just look at this. This happened yesterday in Hillsborough, New Hampshire. Over in Maine, though, the flooding and damage really came on so quickly in such a short period of time. We get more now from Brad Rogers in South Paris.
This is High Street in South Paris near Morse Brook, where heavy rain Sunday afternoon washed out the storm drain beneath this road, causing the road to collapse. Maine DOT says this is the second road to collapse in the last 2.5 weeks. The first was this road in Jay after another heavy downpour there.
Just overwhelms them when you get that much water at once. And all the water goes downhill. So the bottom of the hill gets the worst of it.
Norway Fire Chief David Knox says he couldn't believe how hard it rained Sunday.
Just a lot of rain all at once.
How much rain?
I heard 5 inches in about an hour's time.
Rain was crazy.
Tony Sloboda owns Norway Lake Marina. He was working when the storm hit.
I had to actually pump out those 2 boats that were almost sinking at the time. I did it in the rain.
Sloboda says he nearly lost this dock in the downpour. This kayak still has about 5 inches of water in it.
This is the most rain and the highest we've ever seen the water in this lake. And our sump pump is running constantly, just pumping the water right back into the lake.
And when the water is this high, there's always a worry for boaters of floating tree limbs and logs that can damage their boats.
One of the boats, a camp dock that we have, a girls' camp, one of their boats actually hit one of the logs, ruined a hole underneath of the boat.
Heavy rain is taking a toll in South Korea. At least 41 cultural heritage sites have been damaged since the end of last month. That's according to a statement by South Korea's Cultural Heritage Administration on Tuesday. Images released by the administration here show the damage and flooding at these sites, many located in the country's central and southern regions. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll explore the new technology being used to help clean the Great Lakes, and we'll look at why now is the best time to start growing your own mushrooms.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. Most towns in the Northeast will top out in the 80s. Today we'll have elevated humidity. The bigger story will be the potential for some strong and even some severe thunderstorms that moves into New England during the course of the afternoon. That's about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon or so. That's going to make its way offshore during the overnight hours. Wednesday looks to be a pretty good looking day in the Northeast. Look for a lot of sunshine. We'll have elevated humidity. We'll have high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Some areas may nudge 90.
I'm meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. There is the chance for a few showers and storms as we head into the afternoon. That's all as a cold front moves across the region. There's also the chance for rain and storms overnight and into Wednesday morning. We're talking an unsettled pattern for this time of year. We've got the chance for afternoon showers and storms. Temperatures reach the 80s and 90s this afternoon, but we'll get relief from the heat overnight with lows in the 60s and 70s.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your forecast highs for the day. A hot one in Macon, 100 degrees. We're looking at 96 in Raleigh, 93 Nashville, 96 Birmingham, Atlanta about 96 degrees, 94 Mobile, Jacksonville 96 degrees, 90 in West Palm. Seeing plenty of sunshine to start the day off, but as we go through the afternoon, we'll get showers and thunderstorms firing up. They'll be scattered across the area around Tennessee and Georgia. Definitely in Florida, there'll be some heavy showers and thunderstorms possible late in the afternoon and evening for Atlanta.
Presented by the National Weather Desk.
This scene seems calm, but these storm clouds around the Kansas-Nebraska border would eventually move south into Kansas and resulted in storms severe enough for a tornado warning Sunday. In Mobile, Alabama, these smooth veil-like Pileus clouds were spotted atop these cumulus clouds. They're usually an indication of strong updrafts and are often seen on rapidly expanding cumulus cloud turrets.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Well, you may have seen the images of plastic waste and trash polluting our waters, but new technology could help clean things up. Eric Peterson is in Green Bay with a closer look at how technology is helping to keep plastic out of the Great Lakes.
At Blue Rail Beach in Manitowoc, dodging the Lake Michigan surf is a popular pastime. But an old faded aluminum can and a couple of cigarette butts are also relatively easy to find.
Marine debris, there's about 22,000 pounds of plastic waste that go into the Great Lakes every year. It's kind of a really new issue that people have just started to address.
Enter what UW Oshkosh's Greg Kleinheinz calls a possible solution. It's called BBOT. The radio-controlled mini tank can clear this beach in about an hour and a half. Inside the harbor, students put this rectangular trash-gathering craft through its paces.
The second is a Pixie drone, is what it's called, and so that's an aquatic drone, kind of like a Roomba.
A third one, a rotating cylinder called a Sea-Bin, was installed here last year. Garbage swirls below the surface and is collected twice a week. This pontoon boat patrols the lakeshore, gathering larger marine debris like this tire and even a stove found near Kewaunee.
The boat itself has picked up over a ton of material, literally, like 2,500 pounds so far this year, and about, I think, 4,000 pieces of debris.
This is a really cool initiative.
The project is a partnership between state, federal, and international groups. Brandon Harrison is the Manitowoc Myers store director.
We need these machines to keep, our beaches safe and clean for the families to come out and use, to get debris off of the beaches that we might not see as individuals ourselves, too.
After a few minutes, the BBOT is already collecting trash. Greg Kleinheinz says the multi-pronged attack has an impact.
A variety of different technologies, all of them removing small amounts of marine debris or large, depending on what they find, helping to, sort of solve one particular problem.
Well, another problem facing our beaches, algae. A lake just outside of West Palm Beach in Florida is facing double trouble. Algae spreading and also behaving differently than previous summers. Dylan Huberman reports.
Toxic algae taking over Lake Okeechobee. Drone 12 getting a look from the sky, showing the blue-green slime covering the area around the Port Mayaca Lock. Mark Perry of the Florida Oceanographic Society says it's blooming much earlier and much faster than in past summers.
It's all throughout this portion of the waterway. It's really pretty thick. It's really bad. I mean, from what we've seen earlier, like in June and now into July, this has got to be one of the worst blooms.
Not only is the algae spreading, but it's becoming much more toxic. Perry taking samples of a clump of what he says is dying microcystin, or the stage when blue-green algae becomes even more toxic and smells terrible.
We can smell it even through the mast. That's real toxic level, so we don't want to stay long here, but this is a really bad situation.
Well, for most of us, our food comes from the grocery store, but now foraging for edible plants is really becoming trendy. It could also come, of course, with health benefits. Megan Dehaney met up with the man who shows us why right now the weather in North Carolina is perfect for foraging and also growing mushrooms.
In 1999, Greg Carter was looking for unique Christmas gift ideas. His neighbor showed him her mushroom logs.
I walked out and the logs were loaded with the prettiest shiitake mushrooms.
He took some of them home, cooked them up, and immediately ordered 30 logs for friends and family.
So I told the people, don't burn it as a Yule log. It's going to grow mushroom. And then 8 months later, people started calling me up saying, hey, there's mushrooms growing on these logs. I said, yes.
The next year, he did 100 logs, then 300 logs, then 700.
By 2006, it mushroomed into a business. Pun intended. We soak it overnight in the water. We stand them up on the cabling. Or by Friday, they should be ready to pick to take to market. You're not going to... Oh, my. Look at this one.
Oh, wow.
You're not going to find a fresher mushroom.
Now he shares his knowledge and love of mushrooms with everyone, from school students to oncologists.
Reishi is considered the queen of medicinal mushrooms, and it naturally grows on stumps. So all I'm doing in cultivating mushrooms is mimicking Mother Nature.
They have health benefits, and mushrooms can delight the taste buds.
I don't slice my mushrooms, I just break them on up. I like giving them a dry fry, and then I'll add my butter.
He likes to think his 20-plus years of experience can be a great launch pad for others.
And that's why you want to grow your own shiitakes.
Delicious.
So to see people who take my classes and then go far beyond what I'm doing, it's very exciting. But I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing.
And a warning now for parents. Getting outdoors is important for kids, but when air temperatures are super hot, playground equipment can burn children within seconds. Kalia Patterson has a closer look at the dangers and ways you can protect your kids.
A day at the playground could cost your children their health.
Because it's too hot outside. It's really too hot, and as I have a little one.
The burn program manager at UMC says weather in the triple digits increased the temperature on surfaces significantly.
And when it gets to be 110 or 120 degrees outside, the pavement can get to about 170 degrees. So it only takes seconds to burn skin.
One touch could give a child 1st to 3rd degree burns.
They have thinner skin, so they can get burned much more easily and much deeper. It may require surgery and skin grafting and things like that.
But these parents at the Discovery Children's Museum know better, both opting in to play indoors.
So I just don't feel comfortable taking my kids outside on any hot surfaces.
And we're here on vacation, and we're looking to go to places that they're not outside.
An option experts say is the safest for children, and although kids recover faster than adults, it can still take a toll.
They're going through something traumatic now. It's a lot more difficult because you can't always rationalize with them what they're going through.
The National Program for Material Safety says that playground materials can determine how hot the surface can be, metal and plastic being the hottest in non-shaded areas, bringing in the most heat.
You're just feeling the surface before kids go out and play. Feel it with your hand. If it's too hot for your hand, then it's definitely too hot for your kids as well.
Experts say if you or a child is burned, you should seek medical attention as soon as possible.
Time now for a short break, but first let's take flight above the Wyandotte River in central Pennsylvania.
Well, good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Taking a look at your weather story across the Midwest. We do have some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the plains and into the Ohio Valley and Kentucky for the day today. As we head into the day tomorrow, we're watching a cold front starting to move its way across the plains. So we're down to 80 for the high temperature in Bismarck, but some 90s out ahead of that. As we continue on into your Thursday, it's cooling down to the 80s and even 70s across much of the plains. Those storms racing into the Ohio Valley.
Good Tuesday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Suchet. Look at our forecast across the region, and it's going to be another very hot day with heat advisories, heat warnings in effect all across the region. Temperatures in the 90s or 100 or hotter, and really not much of a rain chance. And that continues into Wednesday's forecast. Heat, some humidity, and no chance for showers and thunderstorms. Above normal in the 6 to 10 day outlook, with rainfall above normal only East Texas to Louisiana.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Rebecca Stevenson. Here's what's happening across the West. Once again, we are just filling in these excessive heat warnings all across the Southwest, where we expect some record high temperatures today. Triple-digit heat is taking it up to 113 in Las Vegas. And we're just starting to warm up once again in the Pacific Northwest. High pressure is expanding. It's getting bigger over the Southwest. That's going to exacerbate how hot it gets. And that's the scene from here.
The National Weather Desk.
We have been talking a lot about the intense heat. The reason the intense heat is so important, though, may actually surprise you. Here's a recent post meteorologist Natalie Walters did on TikTok about some of the dangers related to heat and weather.
True or false? Tornadoes are the leading cause of weather-related deaths. That would be false. The leading cause of weather-related deaths is actually extreme heat. And going back into 2021, the order is actually extreme heat, flash flooding, rip currents, extreme cold, and then tornadoes. Now, of course, tornadoes are extremely dangerous and you want to take them seriously, but as we approach these warmer months, you'll want to take heat very seriously too. Make sure you're taking lots of breaks, drinking lots of water, check on your pets, your neighbors, the elderly as well.
And we'd love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. And a reminder here to check out our podcast, Off the Radar. It covers all things weather, space, and also the environment. A new episode is out today, all about blue holes and how they are giving us a view into the weather of the past. You can find Off the Radar wherever you get or listen to your podcast. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow on the National Weather Desk, we look at what impacts extreme weather can have on your pets. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great Tuesday, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.